They whisper about a hallway where time stalls at midnight. 1 knock means you're being tested. 2 knocks mean it's chosen you. No matter how curious you are, never open the door after the 2nd knock. Never. It started when Mira moved into the old boarding house on Harrow Street, top floor, room 12. The landlord gave her the key and a warning. Don't open your door after midnight, especially not if you hear 2 knocks. He said it so plainly she almost laughed, thinking it was just old man superstition. The hallway outside her room was long and narrow, always dim no matter how many bulbs they replaced. The floor creaked like it was whispering secrets. A draft always lingered, cold and sour, even in summer. On her 3rd night, the ritual began. At exactly 12 a.m., a single knock echoed through the hallway. Slow, hollow, not urgent, just testing. Mira sat frozen on her bed, her fingers tightening around her phone. She remembered the warning, but felt foolish for believing it. Probably another tenant pulling a prank. She didn't answer. The silence returned. But then, another knock. This one louder, closer, like the knuckles dragged across the door at the end. Her lights flickered once. The air grew colder. She got up, half angry, half scared, and crept to the peephole. No one there. But something was wrong. The hallway looked stretched, as if the walls had been pulled further apart. The flickering bulb above her door was now steady, but too white, too bright, like it wasn't her hallway anymore. Then came the whisper, muffled through the door. I saw you look. Mira stumbled back, breath caught in her throat. She checked her phone. 12:03 a.m. She waited, holding her breath, expecting another knock. Nothing. The next morning, she asked her neighbor across the hall, an old woman named Elsie. You heard the knocks, didn't you? Elsie said before Mira even spoke. Mira nodded. Elsie leaned in and whispered, It's always 2. The first to wake you, the second to tempt you. It's not knocking to come in, it's knocking to make you open the door. If you do, it gets to stay. Mira asked what happens if you open it. Elsie didn't answer. She only said, You'll hear it again tonight. Don't speak, don't move, don't look. She tried to leave that afternoon, but the landlord wasn't in. The front door wouldn't open, neither would her windows. Like the house had decided, you stay. That night, she sat on her bed, eyes wide, light on. At 12 a.m., the first knock came. She didn't move. At 12:01 a.m., the second knock hit harder, this time slower, like it was waiting for her to slip. The handle rattled. Then a voice, her own voice, came from behind the door. It's me. I locked myself out. Let me in. Mira stared at the door, paralyzed. Her own voice, same pitch, same tone, was coming from the other side. Calm, familiar, just like she'd sound if she were knocking on her own door after a late-night smoke break. Come on, it's cold out here. She backed away slowly, heart pounding. The voice repeated itself, a little more insistent, but Mira didn't speak. She remembered Elsie's words. Don't speak, don't move, don't look. Then the voice changed. It stuttered, like a broken recording. It's me. I locked out. The voice bent inward, distorting as if trying to fix itself, like it didn't understand how to sound human anymore. It didn't knock again. Instead, it began to scratch. Long, deliberate nails raked down the wood. Mira covered her ears and curled into a corner. She stayed that way until the sun crept through the curtains and the hallway outside returned to silence. The next morning, she burst out of the room, ready to flee, only to find Elsie's door wide open. Inside was nothing but dust and mold, as if no one had lived there for years. She ran downstairs to confront the landlord, but a new woman was at the desk. "Mr. Kessel doesn't work here anymore. He passed away 5 years ago." Her stomach turned. "What about the old woman in room 11, Elsie?" The woman blinked. "Room 11 has been empty for over a decade." Her knees nearly gave out. Either she was losing her mind or something in this place was playing with it. She returned to room 12 and noticed something she hadn't seen before. An envelope slipped under the bed frame. It was old, stained, and sealed with black wax. Inside, a single page in handwritten ink. The hallway ritual. The first knock is the warning. The second is the invitation. Do not answer. Do not speak. Each night it will mimic something you love. If you open the door, you are no longer alone. If it speaks with your voice, you've already been marked. Beneath the rules, a scrawled message. It wants to be let in, but eventually it won't need permission. That night, Mira barricaded the door with furniture, duct tape, a bookshelf. She didn't sleep. At 12 a.m., a knock. At 12:01 a.m., another knock. Then a sound like footsteps walking away. She exhaled. Maybe she broke the pattern. But then, from inside the apartment, her closet door creaked open, and the voice returned, whispering gently behind her, "You shouldn't have looked." Mira spun around, but no one was there. Just the closet, wide open, yawning black like a wound in the wall. The room felt wrong, like it had changed shape when she wasn't looking. The angles no longer aligned. Shadows clung too long. Corners stretched too deep. The air had a pulse. She stumbled back to the hallway door. Still sealed, still unmoving. Then she noticed it. Her reflection in the hallway mirror. Except she wasn't in the hallway. Her double stood just beyond the closet, grinning faintly, pale, hollow-eyed. It raised a hand and waved. Mira didn't move. Then the reflection stepped forward and vanished into the dark. A second later, a hand reached from inside the closet. She screamed, grabbed the letter, and tore it to pieces as if that could break the curse. But the air only grew heavier. Her voice echoed too long, bouncing off walls that now felt closer. The thing in the closet whispered again, "You saw me. That's all I need." Suddenly, the closet door slammed shut. All the lights went out. Silence. Then, knock, knock, knock. From every wall, the window, the ceiling, even beneath her feet. The room was surrounded. Mira ran to the bathroom and locked herself in, trembling, whispering prayers into her palms. The knocks continued, from the mirror, from the pipes, from inside the drain. And then, nothing. For hours, the silence held. Finally, the sun rose. Mira opened the bathroom door. The apartment was exactly how she left it. Neat. Normal. But something had changed. The hallway outside her door wasn't the same. It was too long, too quiet, and every door was open except hers. She stepped out cautiously, heart thudding. Every picture frame on the wall showed her face. Every one. Different poses, different clothes, but always her. She ran to the stairwell. Gone. The windows? Bricked shut. The front door? A wall now. The boarding house had become a loop, trapping her in its own twisted reflection.
And in the hallway mirror, her reflection stood still, no longer copying her. It just watched, and slowly, it smiled. Moral of the story? Some doors don't open outward, they open inward, into you. Once you let curiosity crack the seal, it doesn't need an invitation. It just waits, watches, and eventually, it becomes you. If you hear a second knock tonight, don't open. Just come back to Dark Whispers 2.0. We'll keep the stories out if you keep the door closed. Subscribe before it finds you.